Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
Richard Spencer, a white supremacist and a leader in the so-called alt-right movement, has made Whitefish a home in recent years, which offends many here. John Mulfield is the mayor of Whitefish.
We're a very open town. We welcome diversity, and we certainly don't endorse the ideologies and philosophies that Richard Spencer endorses.
Whitefish has an established human rights organization called Love Lives Here.
Love Lives Here wants to shine a light on the activity of Richard Spencer.
That activity includes a speech Spencer made at Texas A&M University, in which protesters vastly outnumbered his followers, and where he called Donald Trump an alt-right hero.
Whether it's nice to say that or not, we won. And we got to define what America means. We got to define what this continent means. America, at the end of the day, belongs to white men.
He's not powerful. He's just spreading messages of hatred, and we have to keep calling that out and showing that that is not representative of this country. Certainly not representative of this community. Whitefish is way bigger than Richard Spencer.
The Whitefish Police Department says it's aware of the white supremacist website, The Daily Stormer, putting out a call for an armed march through the city of Whitefish. Andrew Anglin founded The Daily Stormer. He posted on the website Friday saying, quote, "We are planning an armed protest in Whitefish. Montana has extremely liberal open carry laws, so my lawyer is telling me we can easily march through the center of town carrying high-powered rifles." He says the march is planned against Jews, Jewish businesses, and everyone who supports either. Anglin says he will gather more than 200 followers for the march, which he says will be in the second week of January, right before President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration. The website also recently called for a troll storm by supporters of Whitefish resident and white nationalist Richard Spencer against members of the Jewish community and businesses with signs in their windows showing support for the human rights organization Love Lives Here. Senior Detective Shane Erickson with the Whitefish Police Department says they are aware of the situation. He says the department plans to release an update tomorrow.
Stronger. Let's bring on Richard Spencer, but I want to offer a note before I do. It's saying that Richard Spencer is from Whitefish, Montana. And in the second part of the show, we're going to discuss the efforts against him in that town by the traditional enemies. But I must tell you something. I'm from Louisiana, and I guess I'm the best known Louisiana in the world since Huey Long. And it's interesting, Huey Long, he was a great man. I think he tried to do back in the 1930s what we've got to do today. We've got to defend America, defend our heritage, and take this country back. And he was known very honorably as, quote, the Kingfish. And Richard Spencer's from Whitefish, Montana. And I think we now have a great moniker for Richard Spencer. And it's Richard Spencer, the Whitefish. He is our Whitefish. He is a man standing for us. Welcome to the show, Richard Spencer.
Thank you, David. It's a great honor to be on, and I like the name. I'm going to run with it.
I like it, too. We created a meme, and I urge all of our listeners across America and the world to adopt that meme. I can see it right now with a very strong whitefish and standing up for our people, and you are indeed that. How does it feel to be the most famous man from Whitefish, Montana?
Well, it's a bit surreal. And this video is hopefully going to be the last video that I make on the Whitefish Tanya Gersh controversy. And I would also like to say that this is specifically addressed to the community of Whitefish. It's not addressed to Tanya Gersh, it's not addressed to Love Lives Here, it's addressed to the silent majority, if you will. The people who aren't active in this fight, but who have experienced it, and I imagine just don't like it and want it to end. Well, I would say I want it to end too, and this video is really a calling for it to end. Well, there was another punching back that occurred beyond just what my mother did. and that is that Andrew Anglin of the Daily Stormer picked up on the case, and he wrote about it at his site, and he called for a troll storm. Now, a lot of people, including my mom, had no idea what trolling is, and she asked me about it and so on. It is a way to fight back digitally, to call people out, to say that, we've got your number, we know what you're up to criticize them, maybe harshly, maybe bluntly, whatever. But it's a digital way of fighting back, and they did it. And let's remember a couple of things. First off, Andrew Anglin is his own man. I mean, that's clear. Andrew Anglin and I have different styles, we have different approaches, but I think Andrew Anglin saw me as part of the broader alt-right. He saw me as part of the broader, you could say, pro-white community. And he fought back. He saw me under threat, and he fought back. Now, again, you might not like trolling. You might think it's terrible or whatever, but the fact is, it is just words. I don't know Andrew Anglin terribly well. I've spoken to him over the phone once, and we were on a podcast together once. I don't, I can't say that he's a friend of mine. I've never met him. And again, he's wild. I don't think he'd be offended by my saying that. We have different styles. But this is one thing I will say, and I will say this with confidence. Andrew Anglin is a rational person. Andrew Anglin has specifically stated that this is nonviolent and that no laws are broken. This was a troll. So that's what it is. People were pushing back. And the fact is, people like Tanya Gersh never expected pushback. I would say the two rabbis who are in charge of Love Lives Here, Rabbi Secher, however you want to pronounce it, and his wife, Ina Albert, they never expected any kind of pushback. They'll create these organizations that have these vague, gooey titles like Love Lives Here, Love Lives Here. How could you criticize Love Lives Here? They must be just up to nothing but good. No, they are not up to any good at all. Love Lives Here does nothing productive for the community of whitefish. What Love Lives Here does is stir up trouble. They don't like me, that's clear. They don't like a lot of conservative Christians. They don't like other people who are traditionalist or religious in some way, and they basically attack us. They don't do anything productive. Look, I've done work here in the sense that I've, in my office, which was not in 22 building, by the way. It was an office building. I've done work here. Yeah, I've edited a book here. I've hosted a podcast here. Whatever. I have never tried to change politics. I have never attended a city council meeting. Except for the one that I attended in 2014 when I had to speak up on my behalf because I was being attacked by these people, namely the rabbis and Frank Sweeney. So again, I do not want to change whitefish. I do not want to make whitefish the center of white nationalism or whatever you want to call it. I simply don't. Even if it's just simply for the sake of my mom, who, is doing really great work with tourism here. I don't want to make Whitefish's name synonymous with my name or with politics or what have you. So I am willing to end this. I am willing to just let this go. The troll storm has happened. The troll storm's peaked. It's going to go away. But for this to end, it is incumbent upon you to bring it to an end. Stop freaking out. I mean, really. Anyway, sorry, I'm kind of rambling as usual, but I'm just saying this. Let's just end this. Let's put it to bed. The controversy's over. Don't bring it up again. I won't bring it up again. I've said all I need to say. All right. Peace. Bye.
There is now a definitive date set for the Armed March on Whitefish. The man who runs the Daily Stormer website says that his march will be January 15th. Andrew Anglin told me over the phone this weekend that he wants the march to coincide with Martin Luther King Day. He also says he received a sizable donation that will allow him to bring in certain people to participate in the march. Anglin, through his anti-Semitic website, The Daily Stormer, is holding the armed march against Jews and in support of white nationalist Richard Spencer, his mother, and the perceived threat against them.